Hi, good morning. Today we're going to be talking about parenting for mental strength training. I am Shuchita, a psychologist and a mental strength training coach. So today I'm going to be talking to the parents about how you can help your develop emotional intelligence for your children and mental strength so that something that's very very crucial for their future success. And to let you in a little bit, mental strength is the key to becoming resilient in life. It's your ability to be able to bounce back. It's a skill that if we start on early, we can teach our children to be able to manage difficulties in life and to be able to deal with any sort of stressful situations and make sure that they're emotionally intelligent, not just with respect to their own emotions but with for the others also, right? And it all starts with positive parenting. So today I'm going to be taking you through concepts like what is mental strength and the benefits of mental strength training, and how as a parent you can start encouraging emotional intelligence in your children, and why building emotional intelligence is important, and some of the very very prominent and key strategies that uh, you can implement to get it all started. So let's learn how to train your children for mental strength. Now let's understand what is mental strength. By definition, mental strength is your ability to cope with life's ups and downs while remaining hopeful and proactive. Mental strength is very very different from the concept of mental health. While mental health is a larger scope, it encompasses your entire mental wellness, and it has a lot of concepts like mental toughness, resilience, mental strength, and your ability, and so on and so forth. So it's basically your entire sense of wellness that we talk about mental health. But mental strength is basically a skill that you help develop, that you can learn not just for yourself, or you can teach it to other people. It's your ability to cope with lives. It's your ability to be able to bounce back from emotion, from setbacks. It's your ability to be able to understand emotions not just in yourself but in others, and respond appropriately. And most importantly, mental strength is also your ability to understand that when do I need to engage with my emotions and when do I need to take a step back. Mental strength gives you that intelligence to be able to understand that this situation requires me to deal with the situation more cognitively and not let negative emotions take take me by. And so yes, it's a concept that's very very close to resilience, which is your determination and your ability to problem solve. It's your ability to be able to bounce back from setbacks, right? Setbacks is part of life. It's something that you cannot ever avoid, and we need to prepare our children to be able to manage whether it's a calamity, whether it's another um, stressful situation like an economic that hits you, or it's something which is related to your health like we had covid, or maybe to be able to deal with peer pressure, exam pressure, stress, anything, you name it. Stress is everywhere. So we need to prepare our children to be able to be more resilient, to have that ability to be able to overcome adversities and stand up again, and if required start their life over and over again. We never know what's going to come, right? Now there are three C's to mental strength, which is basically your control, your challenge, and your commitment. How well you can control emotions, how well you can respond to challenges that the situation present to you, and how committed to you are towards achieving your goals and progressing forward in spite of the challenges that life throws at you. Mental strength also involves protecting oneself from negative influences, people, activities. You can't always be there for children. You can't always be around children to be able to handle them, guide them, right? What you can do is make sure that they have the right values, they have the right understanding, that they have the right skills to be able to navigate life and situations, to be able to deal with bullying, to be able to deal with peer pressure, to be able to deal with negative influences with respect to addiction, all of that. So mental strength is what helps you achieve that with respect to your children. What is the benefit of mental strength training for children? It leads to a lot of awareness. Children who are trained in mental strength are far more self-aware and better equipped to navigate range of emotions, whether it's anxiety, and something that's hitting like a pandemic with children, adolescents at this point, whether it's to do with feelings of boredom, whether it's to do with dealing with feelings which are negative in nature, like they're feeling low, they're feeling depressed, they're feeling anger, right? So children who have mental strength are able to better understand why they're experiencing a negative emotion, and therefore are able to respond appropriately. It leads to improved character. Now, mental strength training can lead to improved character, self esteem, and independence. Children who understand themselves, children who are self aware, children who have more insights about their own behavior are able to respond to others and their emotions and influences also, which ultimately leads to having a very low impact of negative influences, such as letting children not get influenced by rejections, right, in relationships, in friendships, in by teachers, around experiences, right, anything that happens through failures. So children are far more confident of their abilities. Children whose parents use a lot of language that involves labeling emotions, that involves looking at and identifying emotions, uplifting them, building that strength, and their teaching them that it's okay to fail, it's all right to fail, but we try, right? All of those things helps build a lot of self-esteem in children. Mental strength training, there is research that shows that mental strength training reduces the risk of negative outcomes like depression, anxiety, addiction, and other mental health disorders. Now, a lot of times parents want to understand why they should start early on mental strength training, and why that should be the focus in terms of their parenting. Number one, because it has long term effects. Incorporating mental strength training early on will help children develop the coping mechanism and resilience they need to navigate life difficulty. Telling a child it's okay to fail, and it's the effort that matters, or it's how you build a child's mental sense. So for example, if your toddler is learning, say, skating, and the child continues to fall over and over and again, and there are other children who are doing better than your child, mental strength training would involve speaking to them in a language which encourages them to continue trying in spite of the failure. Which mental strength training trains the parents with respect to using language that teaches the child the importance of taking part in an activity, and rather than and not focusing on winning. Say for example, a skill like skating would, you can only get better if you focus more on what you're doing rather than what your opponent is doing, or what your peers are doing, or what your team is doing at that point of time. Helping your child understand that what's important is that you maintain focus on yourself, right? Helping the child understand and learn the ability to be able to keep their focus on themselves and not look at what others are doing and how fast others are going, to be able to increase or improve on their skills, is what comes from mental strength training. This desire to continue learning and not give up when faced with difficulties, when faced with stressful situations, when faced with failure, is what mental strength training does for children. When parents start early on mental strength training, it leads to strong relationships, parent child relationships. There is enough research that shows that parent and child relationship, creating emotionally healthy and supportive children, will can lead to better relationships, not just children having a relationship with themselves, but also having a better relationship with their parents and peers. Sorry. Another fine long-term benefit is improved outlook. Children who have been taught mental strength can have more optimistic outlook of life, even during challenging moments. I can do it. It's okay. Tomorrow we don't know whether they're going to fail at a job, whether they're going to end up losing when there is recession and they have to lose their job, or they need to restart a business due to a failure, or there is a setback with respect to a relationship, or there is a setback with respect to any aspect of any eventuality in life. Children who have mental strength are able to recover and understand that it's okay to restart your life over and over again, which is a very very important skill to have. That this We don't give up. Children end up taking drastic situations or steps like trying to commit suicide or hurt themselves when they just fail at an exam or a test out of fear of what the parents are going to say, or what the society is going to say, or how they're going to react. So it's very very important, children who are mentally strong, that they understand that they can still try and succeed in spite of the repeated failure that's coming their way. So it does improve their overall outlook and with respect to managing challenging moments in life. How focusing on mental strength training improves parent child relationship. Mental strength training is the key to building positive and healthy relationships. When you mental strength training involves speaking to children in a language which is emotionally more intelligent, which is more positive, which is more strength oriented. It involves giving children choices, allowing them to take decisions, be treated with empathy and understanding, right? When you do all of that, when you talk to children and you encourage them and you tell them that you're proud of them, or you use language which helps them understand that what they did, you acknowledge their effort, and it's what matters is that they tried, and that you're proud of the fact that they even finished their food that was on the plate, or you're proud of the fact that they made that effort, or and you just encouraging the fact that they depicted a certain behavior that was positive in nature. These things build a lot of self confidence and self esteem in children. Allowing children to make small decisions like what color clothes they want to wear, or which t-shirt they want to pick up, or which lower that they would like to choose from, or which toy they'd like to pick up from the two choices that you've given them, leads to development of a lot of problem solving skills and a lot of decision making skills that you can start training them early on. A lot of times when children are not trained in decision making or problem solving, the problem is that when they have to grow up and make life decisions, they are still dependent on others for their opinion. They're still dependent on um, you know their parents or their friends or other people to take decisions. They do not have the skills to be able to arrive at a solution for themselves. They're not Mental strength training teaches you how to do a pro and con analysis of why I want to go with this decision, and what's the impact that it's going to have on me. So that leads to the development of children having that confidence that they can take on their decisions without really being dependent on other people supporting them for through this. Now, positive parenting for mental strength. Mental strength training requires is based on the principles a lot of on the principles of positive parenting, which means that parenting that focuses on showing children empathy to their emotions, validating their feelings. Like I said, it helps them build their strengths and weaknesses, understand that, okay, I'm not good at this, but I can still try and get better at it. I i am good at this, right? It's very important to highlight strength in children. A lot of times we feel that if we're going to highlight a child's strengths, the child's going to become overconfident, the child will stop trying. It's an incorrect belief to have. On the contrary, critical parenting leads to children giving up early on. Parenting leads to children developing incorrect self beliefs, beliefs about themselves that they're not good enough. When somebody develops a belief that they're not good enough, it's very very hard even in counseling to change that sense of self belief, because it's something that comes from your inner voice, and your inner voice is created through the voice of your parenting. So if you, as a parent, if you're listening to this, I would want you to sit back and think which of your parents talks to you in what sort of language when you are going through a difficult phase, when you're thinking to yourself, when your inner voice is speaking to you. There is one of your parents speaking to you. It's the parenting style that stays with us as our inner voice. It's very very important that that inner voice has empathy. When you have empathy for yourself and how you're feeling, you do have empathy for others, right? It leads to a lot of resilience building. I've been saying that over and over. It teaches your children to bounce back from adversities. When you do positive parenting, when you focus on your child, when you don't focus on other children, you don't focus on what's happening around them, and you shift their focus to what's happening inside them and how they can better what they're doing at present, that leads to success. It's not getting better from X or Y, it's getting better each day from yourself. When we help our children understand that the competition is with your own self and it's not with others, that's where the battle is won. Because I'm making sure that my child will never fail in life because he or she is competing with him or herself. I'm not telling my child that what you're doing is enough. What I'm trying to tell my child that whatever you're doing, you can better it. But to be able to better it, you don't need to look you don't need to look outside of yourself. All you need to do is, I achieved X today, how can I reach Y? It's not that so and so reached X, and so how can I reach X? My X and my Y are my goals, and they get achieved at my pace. Positive parenting is something that's driven out of a lot of encouragement. You encourage your children to take on new challenges, try. It's learning through trial and error, it's learning through, you know failing. It's okay to fail, but also in the same time providing positive reinforcements when they succeed, celebrating their victories and helping them overcome their setbacks. When you let the child know that it's okay to fail and you also celebrate their success at the same time, it means that you're encouraging them to keep trying, right? And isn't that's what matters in life, that you keep trying and you never give up? Because setbacks are going to hit you. I mean, today you're going to be today you're succeeding at something, tomorrow it's going to hit you back, and there may be a setback, and then you may really have to try again. Children who are not encouraged through setbacks, through are not positively reinforced, tend to give up much more early on than children who get a lot of positive reinforcements trying their way. Another thing that you can do is create certainty in unstable situations by being consistent and setting clear expectations and establishing routines for children. Give your child a sense of purpose and community through voluntary work also. When children follow a specific routine, when they understand what is expected out of them, the chances of having behavioral issues goes down drastically. When children understand what is coming next with respect to their routine, what is going to happen, why there is a change in their specific routine, that they need to go to a certain place, whether outside to a relative's house, when expectations are laid out very clearly, when children are informed about changes in routine, they're better able to adapt them rather than uncertainties, right? Also, give your children a lot of sense of purpose by encouraging them to do community work, whether it's just going out there and helping somebody in need, or just making a lemonade for your house help, or just going out and distributing sweets to your um, some guards or people outside, or going to a religious place and doing something nice or doing a good deed, helping them understand that they giving back to the society or giving back to people who need help is something that encourages and helps them develop a lot of gratitude, a lot of sense of understanding of their own roots of where they're coming from, and how they can continue to how much value they hold in the society. I think that's, and also encouraging children to be able to understand and look for opportunities to be thankful for is very very important, and inculcating the sense of gratitude, being finding things like, for example, if a lot of times I recommend parents to play games where at the end of the day before they sleep, they ask their child and they tell their child themselves that what am I thankful for today, what were the good things that happened to me today. And it could be just that I'm thankful that you hugged me today when I was feeling a little low. What it does to your brain is that it trains your brain, just this simple activity trains your brain to find for opportunities through the day that you need to report back at the end of the day. You don't focus on negative events, rather you start focusing on, you train your mind to start focusing on more positive events. So I very strongly recommend that try playing this gratitude game with your children. If you need to start training your children for mental strength, encourage healthy competition. Like I've been saying that by focusing on personal growth and improvement rather than winning or losing. It doesn't matter. I think the message that needs to go out to your child, and very strongly that it needs to go from us parents to them, is that what matters is that you try. What matters is that you better yourself from yesterday. It does not matter what your friend is doing and how fast or how slow or how good your friend is. Winning or losing is not the ultimate aim. What matters is consistency. What matters is that we continue to try. What matters is that I keep doing it until I win it, right? Teach your child to respect their opponents and learn from their success and failures. Today I'm going to win, tomorrow I'm going to lose. Today he's going to win, tomorrow he's going to lose. So it's very, very important to inculcate a sense of respect, and that only comes from how we talk to them about it. If we start comparing children tend to develop a lot of animosity. Children tend to develop a lot of sense of hatred because they feel that the other child is better in their parents' eyes than themselves. So obviously what we're doing is we're taking away the possibility of them having a good relationship or having a healthy relationship or a healthy sense of competition with anybody else. If I let my child, so that's okay, they win, to see what he did better. You know, did you focus on why he won? Because he was doing these things better. So my focus is not on the other child being good enough or better than my child. My focus is on the skills that the other child used, so that my child can learn from the skills that the other child was using. Parenting language that builds mental strength, it's also very important for how we speak to our children in order to develop mental strength. That the language that we use with our children can have a very, very big impact on their mental strength. Encourage your child to face challenges and believe in their own abilities using languages that emphasize effort, growth, resilience. It matters that you tried. What matters is that you did better than yesterday, or you did better than yesterday, or you're learning so fast. You tried, you did it for 15 minutes today. Do you know that you sat through 5 minutes to do this task that you're doing right now? It's amazing that you finished your homework so quickly, right? Oh, wow, you tried everything. It's just one mistake, and but everything else is so perfect, right? That's the language that you use to encourage, emphasize on the effort that they're putting. Because what you're doing is, you don't necessarily need external reinforcers. You don't necessarily need outside things to encourage your children to be better. You don't need chocolates, and you don't need toys, and you don't need TV times to reinforce your children. Your language and the manner in which you speak, your appreciation, your affection is a far bigger reinforcer than any material thing that's out there. What it does to you, what your affection, what a language that focuses on effort, growth, and resilience does, it helps them develop skills they need to manage conflict in a very healthy and a productive way. Avoid languages that focus on fixed traits or abilities that undermines their confidence. For example, saying, "You're so smart," say, "I'm proud of how hard you worked on that." You're intelligent. I'm so surprised and proud that you figured this out. I'm Because what I'm trying to tell my child here is that I'm focusing on your action, I'm focusing on your behavior. I'm not telling you that you need to be intelligent all the time. I'm not telling you that you need to be smart all the time. I'm not telling you that you need to be well mannered. Oh, you're such a good boy because, right? Oh, I'm so glad that you wished when neighbors came to our house. I'm so happy. It makes me so happy. You were so gentle. You were so kind. When you went and helped that other child, when you shared water, that was so kind of you. So what I'm trying to focus here is on reinforcing the behavior, because I'm telling the child that I'm noticing everything that you're doing. What is the overall benefits of mental strength training? Has a lot of benefits for the entire families, right? It leads to mental fitness. Now, mental strength training enables parents and children to better understand not just their own but each other's thought processes and emotions, ultimately resulting in better communication and healthier family dynamics. If I am aware of my emotions at this point of time, then I understand that I need a timeout. I'm feeling overly anxious, I'm feeling frustrated, I will communicate that better. If I do not understand what I am feeling, I am most likely to only act irritated. I'm most likely to only communicate pass on that irritation to the other members of the family also, and not at the end of the day lead to a lot of conflict and difficulties. It leads to improved connections. Mental strength training enhances families' relationships and fosters strong bond between family members, helping them to better appreciate each other's perspective and experiences. Mental strength training or positive parenting encourages you. And finally, mental strength training reduces overall sense of overwhelmness or stress that the family experiences, specifically in challenging times. Like, you're able to manage your stress better. Emotional challenges as a family can significantly reduce your stress related to behaviors, illnesses, creating more positive interactions and greater harmony within family. Children tend to be more understanding in case of illnesses, they're more cooperative. And otherwise, when you see, when there's stress inside the family, when there's stress in terms of the relationship, or there's anything that's going negatively, children tend to increase or show higher behavioral difficulties or higher tantrums or higher need for attention. Therefore, because they do not understand what is going on, they do not have the emotional intelligence to be able to understand that my parent needs to be at a different place or needs to be involved significantly more in another place. And now, how mental strength coaches can help parents. Like, when you connect with a mental strength coach, that can be a great way to learn parenting effectively, right? Like, what exactly is the challenges that you're currently facing? What is the present level of your child, and when it comes to their emotional intelligence, and how you can start building emotional intelligence in children, or building mental strength, or teaching them resilience and skills like mental toughness, requires a step by step process, which starts with helping them understand how to label emotions, not first in themselves and then in others. Then comes the skill of understanding and learning how do you respond to emotions, right? Which is first within myself. If I'm feeling angry, what is it that I can do? When I'm feeling anxious, what is it that I can do? When I'm feeling frustrated, what can I do? When I'm feeling sadness, how can I express it, and what can I do? Similarly, then learning how to respond to emotions that they see in others. When my parent is angry, when my parent is stressed, when my parent is showing anxiety, what exactly it is, and how do I, as a child, recognize it, number one, and then respond to it. Mental strength training also teaches parents and children to be able to understand how do you differentiate that this is a time when I need to cognitively process information and take actions and deal with situations, rather than getting caught up in negative emotions. Mental strength training teaches you how to be able to disassociate from your emotions, when to engage with emotions and when not to engage with emotions, and also not letting your emotions overrule your decision making. Because a lot of times when we respond to negative emotions, or we give in to negative emotions, we tend to kind of make incorrect decisions. That happens because we're overwhelmed, right? And guided by our emotions. What we need to do is teach children to be successfully, and that's what personalized coaching does for you. So get started early today, and involve a lot of positive parenting, involve teaching your children and responding to them with empathy, and start building mental strength and resilience in your family. And in case you have any questions, feel free to contact me via my website, or leave a comment below, and I'd be happy to answer whatever query do you have with respect to how can you parent a child for mental strength development. Thank you for being here, and thank you for listening. I'll see you again with another topic on mental strength very, very soon.